Happy Tuesday, Deuce. What a sports day we have ahead of us, especially for a Tuesday. 2 baseball playoff games and the much anticipated start of the association. How you doing?
I'm good. I cannot complain. I had a little frost on the car this morning, which was weird, but I think I have to keep the complaining to a minimum with all the channel flipping I've been able to do recently. It's been phenomenal.
I have contemplated many a times going away from cable to go to the internet, but nights like tonight are the reason I can never do it. I need to have the remote in hand.
Yeah, I'm in the middle of buying a new house. We've talked about dropping the cable, cutting the cord as they call it, and I think I'm with our buddy Diff. I'm not sure I can cut the cord ever because of this.
I certainly can't. Well, let's get right into it. The much anticipated NBA preview, one of my favorite pods of the year.
Yeah.
Just give me your thoughts, excitement level on the return of the NBA.
I'm with you. I love the NBA. People like college because of the atmosphere, but the level of play in the association is just so good. The general theme for me this year is, I think it's a little watered down because how good Golden State is. So if I had to pick a general theme, I would say I just hate the city of Philadelphia and everything about the Sixers, and the Warriors are just too good for everybody.
So you don't trust the process?
I do trust the process. Henke got a raw deal, but just crazy how the D-League and Summer League have made expectations just astronomical.
I think we'll get a little deeper into it when we go team by team, but I agree. I think people are getting a little ahead of themselves. We saw last year with Minnesota, it's not easy to win with a young team.
I have that team written down exactly in my notes. I think they're still 2 years away. I think the Sixers, especially with Simmons and Markelle, I just think they're kind of young, no experience. Even in NCAA tournament, they don't even have that experience. So I think we're just a little ahead of ourselves.
Your first point in regards to the Warriors, I love dynasties. I love when a team's dominant. But are the Warriors, is the dominance bad for the NBA?
That's a good question because I think people in general love the dynasties, but in this case it feels a little different. I don't know if it's artificial because of the Durant situation. I asked myself, or when I was writing down notes, if Golden State did not get Durant, let's say they filled with another, good role player, I think they still are the favorites every year in the next 5 years. And I feel like people would love this dynasty if they were to win 3 or 4 with that core sans Durant. I think it would be much more accepting.
I completely agree. When I think of teams who are really dominant right now, one of the teams that come to mind is Alabama football. But they're still beatable. You can beat them. I mean, we'll talk about it, but I don't know who can beat Golden State in a 7-game series.
You can't. It's impossible.
Barring an injury, I mean, it's over before it even starts.
Yeah, that's what makes it not fun and watered down. The Warriors without him, I still think, win 3 titles in 5 years maybe. But I think each series is, competitive.
3 big off-season moves for Houston, Oklahoma City, and Boston. Who are you most excited to watch?
Most excited to watch for me would be Oklahoma City, just because I like the individuals more so than the other 2 you mentioned. I think Paul George and Westbrook are going to be really fun to watch, and I would expect and hope that this kind of invigorates Carmelo to get back to some level of stardom, I guess.
Will Russell change his ways and change his game?
I don't know. I honestly don't know if that's possible. I think you'll see some growing pains with him trying to do that. For me, it's all about the fourth quarter. Does he still need to shoot it 20 times? But I've always been a Paul George guy. I think he's just a really good player. So someone like that maybe helps Russell defer a little bit more.
Can Paul George be the best player on a team that goes deep in the playoffs? Probably not this team, but with imminent free agency ahead.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I don't know. And he's one of those borderline guys.
Switching over to Houston, how do you think Chris Paul is going to fit in?
I don't know. Honestly, I'm not sure. I think maybe the ball dominant discussion is too much. I guess we've seen it work before to some extent, but I don't know. Chris Paul has his track record now. Some things you can blame on coaches and teammates and organizational deficiencies, but his track record's pretty long now where he's just not a guy that wins. So I don't know. This is a weird fit with Harden.
I think they may be able to figure out how they play in the half court. The biggest question that I have is Houston likes to get out in the transition and run. That's really never been Chris Paul.
Never. Yeah, great point. I don't know who is going to be more the dictator. I would assume, though, that Paul maybe takes a little bit of a backseat and lets Harden kind of dictate the game plans just because it's more of his team at this point.
And the last one of the big trades, Kyrie going to Boston. Your assessment of that?
I actually like this move for Boston. Just from if you're talking from a trade perspective, this is going to be crazy. Maybe we'll talk about it a little more in a few minutes. But that Nets pick, I don't think was as valuable. Is going to be as valuable as first thought. I think the Nets might be sneaky scrappy this year. It's not guaranteed top 3 picks, so I think they got a player that if he was coming out is probably the first pick still, and he can score. That's kind of what they were lacking. So I think it's a good fit.
The question's been asked all summer: can Kyrie be the guy?
I have my doubts. I just, tough for somebody to be the guy when they're not a two-way player. Probably point to some assist numbers and say he's a good distributor. I don't think he's a great passer. So for me, he's just a pure scorer. And we haven't really seen pure scorers be able to carry teams. So I have my doubts.
Has Boston compromised what we thought of them last year, the grit, the attitude, by trading away Crowder, Bradley having to move on?
Definitely to some extent. You still got Marcus Smart, but Crowder or Bradley, especially on defense, were so good. I can't, how do you not lose some of that grit? Especially when you bring in a guy like Kyrie and a guy like Gordon Hayward, grit is not associated with him.
Looking at Cleveland's current roster construction, better or worse than what we saw last year?
Maybe I'm missing something, but I think they're way worse. And maybe I'm just banking on LeBron finally falling off that cliff. I like Crowder, but Isaiah Thomas is not going to play until the All-Star break, essentially. And if it's possible, and in this case it is, Kyrie's one of the worst defenders in the league. In that trade, they basically traded scoring for scoring, but they got worse defensively, which is impossible, but they did.
The trade that they made and the assets they brought back, does that do anything to entice LeBron to stay?
There's no... if someone thinks LeBron is going to sign mid-year, they're delusional. So I'm sure somebody in the organization thought, hey, we're going to have this pick. Maybe we can flip for assets if LeBron, you stay. There's no way. LeBron's the power guy. He's not letting anyone push him around.
I have one other question before we get into it. Giannis or Anthony Davis? The Freak or Anthony Davis? Who you building your team around?
I think, and this is a little foreshadowing here to our MVP discussion, I think I'm going with Giannis.
Is he unstoppable if he gets a more consistent jumper.
Yeah, if he expands that jumper at all, I'm not sure. It's basically a more physical version of Kevin Durant. He'll never be the shooter that Durant is, but that's kind of how he's built.
Well, let's get into it. Let's start in the East. Let's start with the Atlantic Division. We talked a little bit about the Celtics. Give me your overall thoughts on the Celtics.
They finally flipped their assets into something tangible. I think it was probably the right time. They brought in some good players, specifically guys that can score. I have my doubts with their chemistry, like you alluded to. I don't like some of the defense and kind of that grimy nature, physicality. I think they lost a lot of that. I do like Jason Tatum. I think he was a good pick. That provides them some more scoring at the forward spot. I still don't like Al Horford. I just don't think he fits here. Don't think he has got much left in the tank. But they should be good once they figure it out. I think the key here is that they have maybe the best coach in basketball, top 5. So I think that's what really helps them here.
Do they have enough rebounding?
That's a good question. You're going to have to ask guys that normally don't rebound to rebound, specifically Gordon. They're losing Jay Crowder, hurt specifically in that area. He was one of the best offensive rebounding forwards in the league, so that is definitely a question mark.
Last year they went 53 and 29, over/under set at 53 and a half.
That number has dropped. It opened at 56 and a half, so it looks like some smart people bet on that under. I would actually lean under here if I needed to make a pick.
I think I agree with you. I think similar to the Miami situation when LeBron and D-Wade got together, it's going to take them a couple weeks, maybe a month or so to figure it out.
Yeah, that's where I think Brad Stevens plays a huge role as opposed to taking 3 months to figure it out. It might only take him 4 or 5 weeks.
It would seem that this is a 2-team race in this division between them and the Raptors. The Raptors have a shot to win this division.
Yeah, they definitely have a shot. Talent-wise, though, I think they're just lagging behind Boston. If we're talking about a 6-month season, I think that comes into play a little bit.
The Raptors lose Damari Carroll, Corey Joseph, Patrick Patterson, PJ Tucker. They add CJ Miles and OG Anunoby from Indiana. They will have a full season with Ibaka. Your thoughts on the Raptors?
Down on the Raptors last year, up on the Raptors this year. I did like my boy Pat Patterson. They lose him, but I think CJ Miles is a nice little signing, a little bit under the radar. I think Ibaka, we've never been fans of him. No secret there, but I think a full season of him it can only help. I like the Raptors this year. I think the over-under is a little bit low. I think they got a good mixture of guards and bigs. If they can stay healthy, I think they can make a run at this division.
51 and 31 last year, 47 and a half over and under.
I lean over, actually.
I'm with you. I think a full season. They got some time under their belts last year with Ibaka. Their bench is a concern for me.
Yeah.
But I do like a full year of this roster over the total.
I agree.
And I do think it will be into the last couple of weeks as to who's going to win this division.
This will be a fun race to watch, I think.
I would have the Sixers coming in third in this division.
I do too.
They only significant loss, if you want to consider that, is Gerald Henderson. They bring in Redick. They draft Fultz. Should finally see Ben Simmons. Your thoughts on the Six?
They're building something, That's all you can ask for. They are the darling team of the NBA, and I would have to say Embiid is the main reason for that. Look, he looks awesome. He's got to stay healthy, though. That is my concern here with the high win total. It will be fun to watch. I love the signing of Reddick. The number, his salary sticks out like, whoa, are you kidding me? But I think it was a smart signing with such a young team. He'll bring some stability. He'll bring some shooting, which they needed. Embiid's got to stay healthy, though. Simmons and Markelle Fultz are going to have their growing pains. They'll probably show some flashes, but I'm sure they're going to have some pretty poor stretches. Look, if Embiid can stay healthy, maybe he wins 35 games by himself. Certainly possible, but 82 games is so different than 30 games that he's been playing, so I have no idea how that's going to work out.
Embiid's contract, your thoughts?
I actually think it was smart from both sides. I think both sides took a little bit of the risk out. The Sixers are locking up what could be a top 3 player in the league, and they're getting some financial security if he suffers a catastrophic injury. Smart. They're kind of paying for that, but Embiid is getting security too. He could have waited, but like I said, he's never played a full season, so who knows what's going to happen.
Expectations for Fultz?
This year or long term?
This year.
I think he'll have an okay year. I think he struggles a little bit. I know he's been working on his shooting motion. I think he'll struggle with the speed of NBA defenders. I think he'll have some really good games, and then I think he'll see some poor shooting, high turnover games, just like any other rookie. But I think he'll show some promise.
Talk around here, certainly playoffs. Is the bar set too high?
We will pick our 8 playoff teams later, but I have them 2 games out. If you want me to really get specific, I think they are in the mix, though. I think they'll challenge. If Embiid stays healthy, they probably sneak in. But I'm curious to hear your thoughts on the team. But if he can't play more than 50 games, 60 games, then I'm not sure how they make the playoffs.
That's it right there. I agree with your assessment of the Embiid contract. I think you had to do it. If you're going to win a title, you got to build it around somebody, and he's certainly somebody you can build around. Fultz, I agree with. I think he gets better as time goes on. I like the fact that Brown is going to bring him off the bench. I think people have to be patient with him. I don't think he's going to make the impact that previous rookies have made. And Simmons is intriguing all in himself. Does he have that trait that he could attack? But aside from that, I think that they do sneak into the playoffs this year as a 7 or 8.
So you are counting on Embiid playing at least 50 or 60 games?
Somewhere between 50 and 60 I have Embiid down for.
Yeah, that's fair then, definitely.
28-54 last year, over under at 40 and a half.
And then it's come down from the opening of 43 and a half. 40 and a half is probably a good number. If you're betting the over, you're betting on Embiid. I have him right. I have him at 38 to 41, so it's right in that wheelhouse.
I agree. This would also be a pass for me. Staying in this division, I have the Nets coming in 4th.
Wow. So do I. I thought that was going to be a surprise.
They lose Brooke Lopez. They bring in D'Angelo Russell, Damari Carroll, Timothy Mozgov, and Alan Crabb. Their over-under is set at 26 and a half, 20 and 62 last year.
Man, I really wanted to lean over here, but I don't have the balls to do it. I like some of the pieces they got. I think Alan Crabb can score, even though he's been disappointed in signing that extension. I think Mozgov, he showed some flashes. He could be a body out there. But really, I think D'Angelo Russell is the guy I expect to have a really good year. I think he is going to be in contention for most improved player this year. I think you see him put up some huge scoring numbers. And there's not really much else hope if you're Brooklyn. You've been floating in the bottom of the barrel the last 5 years, just waiting for all these picks to finally subside. You still got to go through another year of it, but at least you have one guy with promise.
Yeah, I like what they've done. Just as far as trying to stay competitive while losing all those picks.
Long process to scrape Billy off the bottom of your shoe.
I am also intrigued to watch D'Angelo Russell this year out of the LA spotlight, out of the Kobe Bryant spotlight his first year. I'll be interested to see if he could take that step from where he was last year. And I think they got some scrappers. I don't think they're a pushover anymore when you when you play Brooklyn.
Yeah, I agree. I think they fights be in some games.
I think, as you said, I think this number 26.5 is probably close to where they finished this year.
Yeah.
And the last team in the division, the Knicks.
Man, not much to say about the Knicks. It's tough when you see your crosstown team be really bad for so long and everyone's laughing at them, but you're really just as bad. They're a very similar team in my mind. They have one guy that gives them some hope. You just traded your face of the franchise for the last decade, which I'm sure turned some fans away. To me, though, it's just, they don't have much outside of Porzingis. Tim Hardaway Jr., I thought they really overpaid for. I like Enes Kanter. I thought they at least got something back for Carmelo. And I guess they're going to rely on the rookie point guard to be really good because they passed over Dennis Smith, who I thought was going to be a Knick. So, they're rolling the dice like they usually do.
What do you expect out of Frank, the rookie?
I don't know. He's big for a point guard. I like that. He's 6'5". He's got a long wingspan. But it's tough to, judge the kids overseas. He's only 19, which is really young. I'm sure he'll come over, and he should be a good defender right away. I think the speed of the NBA will probably be a little bit of a learning curve. We'll see.
31 and 51 last year, over/under 30.5.
I would lean under here. I'm actually surprised it's that high.
I completely agree. I think we may be seeing them go into tank mode.
I would not be shocked if it's an early tank mode, especially if someone like Cantor gets hurt or something like that.
From what I read, it's a 3-player draft next year. So I expect some of these teams to go into tank mode.
I would think we would know by NFL playoffs, mid-January. I think you'll start to see some teams evaluate, hey, let's start tanking big time. Although, with that new injury policy or rest policy, it'll be interesting to see how teams deal with that. Or are they just going to start making up injuries?
I agree with that. Let's move on to the Central. Is anybody competing with the Cavs?
I would like the Bucks to compete with the Cavs, and I'm on record saying LeBron takes a step down this year. I think we finally see the miles on the tires. I'm not sure the Bucks, though, have the pieces yet to contend. I need to see them get one more guy on the perimeter before I think they take that step forward. So no, I have the Cavs winning the Central.
They lose Kyrie Irving, as we talked about earlier, lose James Jones, bring in Derrick Rose, Dwayne Wade, Crowder, Thomas in the trade, and also, who I had no clue was still in the NBA, but Jeff Green.
Yeah, I didn't either. Wow, names of the past.
This has to be his 11th team. And I think all 11 teams think that they could revitalize his career.
God, that kid was so athletic coming out of Georgetown, too.
Are they deeper than they were last year?
I don't know, I guess. Maybe I'm delusional. I just don't, the Wade and the Rose, that doesn't do anything for me. Those guys are just retreads. There's not much left. I love the Crowder signing, or trade. I think he provides something that they were lacking. And the whole season to me comes down to LeBron's, health / career trajectory. Does it stay on what it was last year? And can Isaiah Thomas come back? If he comes back in January and he's regular Isaiah Thomas, different story. Then all of a sudden they're a much deeper team. But if they don't have him and LeBron's carrying the load 44 minutes a night with Wade and Rose, no thank you.
They went 51 and 31 last year, over under 54 and a half.
I lean under. I think LeBron doesn't play as many minutes, and I don't think Isaiah comes back when people think he's going to come back.
Seems like they're intent on trying Kevin Love at center. Your thoughts on that move?
I don't hate it. I guess it depends on the lineup you have on the floor. If Crowder's on the floor and Thompson's on the bench, then I don't hate it.
Bucks, second place team in this division.
I do have the Bucks, yes.
They lose Michael Beasley. They bring in DJ Wilson. How much better or how much more of a step could the Freak take?
I have the Freak as my number one MVP bet at 9-1. I think I think this is the year. I mean, last year was kind of the year, but I think this is the year you see that MVP type of game. I think he's only 22, which is just insane. I like some of their pieces. I like DJ Wilson in the draft. We'll see if he can develop anything besides the jump shot, but he's got some range. He's got a nice touch. To me, the issue is the Chris Middleton, Jabari Parker, that position. Malcolm Brogdon, I guess you could throw in there. Do they take the next step? Are they just the 18-point a game scores and that's it, or what? Or can they step up and be that legit number 2 guy?
Do either Middleton or Parker have any value to fetch you something better back?
Oh, that's a good question.
Or somebody that fits a little bit better? To me, Middleton and Parker are very similar.
I would venture a guess if Parker showed some flash here the first few months, was in that 18 to 20 point a game and showed some explosion, maybe you could still get something decent from him. I would actually prefer dealing him and keeping Middleton.
Do you expect Thon Maker to make any steps forward?
I've read a ton about Thon Maker this offseason. A lot of people dark horse for most improved, or if he gets some more significant minutes, defensive player of the year. I'm not sure he'll play enough for that, but if he plays significant minutes, I think defensively he'll have a huge impact. He'll probably lead the league in blocks outside of Gobert if he plays more. But I think you could expect some sort of jump from him. He looked pretty good late last year.
42 and 40 last year, over under 46 and a half.
I wanted to lean over here. I think they're, if you're projecting a step forward, 5 to 7 wins more than last year puts them right in the range. So this is a stay away from me. But I would lean maybe over, or maybe they get 47, 48.
Yeah, I'm with you. I wanted to go over, but 5 to 7 win jump seems like a lot.
Yeah, exactly.
Who do you have third?
I have the Detroit Pistons third.
I'm with you. Detroit, 37 and 45 last year. They lose Caldwell Pope, Marcus Morris, and Aaron Baines. Bring in Avery Bradley, draft Luke Kennard, also bring in Langston Galloway. Thoughts on Stan Van Gundy and the Pistons?
Yeah, Pope was a pretty big loss from a scoring perspective. He could put the ball in the hole. I don't mind the Kennard pick, actually. I feel like his game should translate to the NBA. He can shoot it. He's got good energy. They need something out of last year's pick, Henry Ellison. 6'11" and supposedly can shoot it, but he didn't show much his rookie year. Love the Avery Bradley pickup. I think that's a cheap, really good roster move. So I think they'll be okay. Andre Drummond, I always loved. But Reggie Jackson's my boy, disappointing. Tobias Harris, another guy we both loved, didn't have a great year last year. So they have some pieces, but they don't have the guy you need in the NBA. That's the problem. That's why they won't crack anything more than 42, 41 wins.
I like this roster. I like the players on it. There's just something about it that I don't know what it is that I just don't think they're going to be good.
They're just all good players. No one's really good.
Yeah, I think you're right. I don't know if they fit well together.
Yeah.
Over under.
I wouldn't be shocked to see Reggie Jackson move, actually.
With Caldwell Pope, Kennard, and Avery Bradley, you'd think one of them is going to become expendable.
Well, Pope's gone, so...
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. You're right.
I still think you're right there, though. I think you'll see Reggie Jackson or Tobias Harris be moved by the deadline.
I think Harris could be a very good acquisition for somebody who... I don't want to say he's going to beat the Warriors, but at least makes more noise in the playoffs.
I would agree. I would think a team like Portland or Minnesota, a team like, maybe San Antonio, his price tag's probably too high, someone like that.
Over under set at 38.5.
No lean here. I think 38 is a good number.
I agree. Fourth place in this division, I have the Pacers.
I do as well.
They obviously lose Paul George from last year, moving on to Oklahoma City in a trade. They also lose Teague and CJ Miles. They bring in Oladipo, Collison, Bogdanovich, Corey Joseph, and Sabonis. Thoughts on the Pacers?
This team could be pretty bad. My guess is they're trying to build around Miles Turner. It's tough in today's NBA to build around a traditional big like that. Thad Young, love Thad Young, but might be seeing the downward trend of his career. Bogdanovich is just a streaky shooter. Oladipo's okay. I don't see much on this team. I think this is prime tank blow it up scenario. I don't think they win many games this year.
I see this team being a disaster defensively.
Yeah.
Like 110, 115 points a game disaster defensively.
Could be.
I don't know who rebounds and I don't know who guards anybody.
Yeah. There's a weird collection of players. My guess is this is a tank candidate. I'm assuming that's what they're trying to do.
They're over under set at 30.5, and I like the under.
I feel like that is a gift from the gods.
Yeah, I think this is one of the worst teams in the league.
Like, I was shocked. Now, they do play in the East, so I'm assuming that inflates this line by 2. Is what, a 2.5 maybe? But I thought it was going to be a 24, 25.5 line.
I think this is also they get more division games, so the Cavs and Bucks are going to beat them up, and the Pistons probably beat them up.
Yes, I'm shocked at how high that is. I have this start as one of my favorite plays.
Are any of these guys have any value to trade? Other than Miles Turner, who it seems like they're going to build around.
He's only making $3 million a year, so he's probably has significant value. I guess Sabonis has value. I don't love Sabonis' game in today's NBA, but with his contract, he probably has some value.
Last place, Bulls. The Bulls went 41-41 last year. We're going to see a completely different Bulls team. They lose Butler to Minnesota. Wade moves on. Rajon Rondo moves on. They bring in Chris Dunn and Levine from Minnesota in the trade, and they draft Lauri Markkanen. I can't even get that out without laughing.
Did Markkanen stay? I thought he was a Knick.
No, Knicks got Frankie Ntilikina or whatever.
Oh, yeah, that's right. They did get Markkanen. You're right.
No idea what they were thinking, but they have him nonetheless.
Their over-under is set at
22 and a half.
Yeah, so candidate for worst team in the league. Chicago market, though, I don't think they have the same concerns as Indiana. I think Chicago will be able to be a factor in the free agent game. I expect this to be my number one tanking contender just because I think they can, if they get a top pick, they can parlay that into some free agents too. This is a team that could be better, in 2 or 3 years, but the current roster is arguably the worst in the league. I can't stand Lauri Markkanen's game. Maybe he's the next Dirk, who knows, but I don't like him. Chris Dunn has been a disappointment so far. Zach LaVine is their best player, I think. I guess you could argue maybe Robin Lopez, but I don't know. It's a coin flip. It's hard for us to see the Bulls winning more than 20 games.
I think the over-under's set pretty good. I would lean under, but I wouldn't feel that confident.
It's very, very low. You would have to feel some type of way.
Moving on to the last division in the East. Seems like this is the Bullets to lose.
Yes.
Your thoughts on your hometown team?
I don't want to say a ton more. They went on a run after struggling early last year. They have a really good starting five. Their bench still concerns me. If Beal and Wall can stay healthy, I think they probably eclipse 50 wins just because their starting five in the East is so much better than other teams. If they can have a full season of Jan Mahimi, I think that would be a huge deal because Gortat is now 33, going on 34. I love Markieff Morris. He's one of my favorite players in the league. Besides staying healthy, I think the key this year is to see growth. The next step from Otto Porter and Kelly Oubre, kind of their small forward, 6'8" long guys. They're both good defensively, but I think they need to develop a little more offensively for this team to really be good.
Your thoughts on the Otto Porter re-signing?
Had to do it. I think the way the cap structure is nowadays, you have to, if you draft a guy, you basically have to pay him max money no matter what, even if he's just okay.
Is this team good enough to beat Cleveland or Boston in a 7-game?
I'm not sure they're deep enough. That is my big concern is their depth. I'm not sure they can. Cleveland, I just have question marks about Cleveland. Cleveland is sort of like the Pittsburgh Steelers to me. I don't know. I just have concerns about them. If Boston doesn't gel, I don't see why not. A lot would have to go right. I think Porter and Oubre would have to take a step forward. I think Beal and Wall stay healthy, and I think they definitely need Mahimi to play more meaningful minutes. But sure, why not?
49 and 33 last year, over under 48 and a half.
This is a roll of the dice, but I actually lean over. That would be banking on health. Beal has been injury prone in his career. If he can play a full season, though, he's a 22, 23 point a game guy, so I would lean over.
I also lean over on the Wizards as well. I have the Miami Heat as the second team in this division.
So do I.
Miami doesn't really lose much. They bring in Kelly Olynyk and Bam Adebayo. 41 and 41 last year, got hot at the end. Your thoughts on Miami?
Similar team to last year, I think. Olynyk that signing doesn't really do much for me. Good for him for getting paid. I see them as a very similar team as last year. Dragic can score. They have a couple of young guys that are attractive. Dion Waiters, hit or miss. Whiteside, a lot of people like. I like Justice Winslow. but I don't see really any improvement from what they were last year.
Yeah, Winslow had an injury-plagued year last year, so if he's healthy, that should be an upgrade. The biggest question I have is Dion Waiters had a pretty good year last year. Is Dion Waiters going to repeat that?
I don't know. Very Sweet Louis, I think, is how I would describe him.
Yeah, I like Spoelstra. I like what he's done since LeBron left. I just don't see them repeating that second half of last year when they went 30-11.
Yeah, I think this is a contender to make a deadline move, actually. I could see some contenders wanting some of these pieces.
So if you had to say, are they closer to tank mode or closer towards making the deadline deal to try and get better?
I would lean actually tank mode. I like Winslow and Whiteside, but I think Drogic is a guy at that salary that they could unload. I don't know. Something about this team, I just don't. Sort of Detroit Pistons-y. A lot of good players knowing great.
As I said, 41-41 last year, over under 42.5.
I think it's a good number.
I would lean under on this.
Interesting.
I have the Hornets coming in third in the division.
So do I.
Hornets 36-46 last year. They lose Bellinelli, Plumlee, and Sessions. They bring in our boy Dwight Howard, our boy Michael Carter-Williams, and draft Malik Monk, which I actually like.
Malik Monk might have been my favorite draft night pick. I think he steps right in and is a high-volume scorer. They lose Nicholas Batum to an injury for 6 to 8 weeks, which is actually pretty big, I think.
This team has a lot of guys I dislike as players. Like
You don't like Johnny O'Brien III?
Dwight Howard's awful. Michael Kidd-Gilchrist is awful. And I don't really see the infatuation with Marvin Williams.
What about Michael Carter-Williams?
He's a great shooter.
I do like Kemba Walker. He's made himself into a nice little player. I think he's really good. I like Malik Monk with Kemba, actually. Those are two guys where, when they're 20 games under 500, are going to beat some teams they're not supposed to.
I think that they're going to be better than last year where they went 36-46, but 42.5 is too high for me.
Big stretch. I thought the same thing.
So I lean under here.
So you don't think Dwight Howard equals 6 more wins?
No.
I'm with you. I lean under Hornets.
And then I have
The rest of the division isn't even worth conversating about.
I have the Orlando Magic. Quickly, they went 29-53 last year. They lose Jeff Green, Jody Meeks, C.J. Watson. Draft Jonathan Isaac. Bring in Jonathan Simmons, Aflalo, Maurice Spates. Over-under set at 30.5.
Yeah, they got some interesting names. Specifically, Rizonia, and I like the Isaac pick. Gordon, it can be fun to watch. They don't have anyone, though, I'm not a big Alfred Payton guy. They have some nice young pieces. That's really all they have, but everyone else is kind of just a role player.
This similar to the Bucks, just a way worse version. They have a lot of similar players.
Yes, they do. A lot of guys that can't shoot on this team.
Yes.
And they have $34 million tied up this year in Evan Fournier and Bismack Biyombo. Just FYI, for all you kids out there that want to go into a career in basketball, you can make some money.
I have no feel on the Magic at 30.5.
I would lean under, but I have no idea.
Last place, the Atlanta Hawks. lose Millsap, Howard, Hardaway, Cephalosha, Mike Scott, Calderon. They lose everybody.
I would have to say this is your other top three tanking contender team in the East with the Bulls and Pacers. You know, they lose literally everyone on their team. I know it's only 27.5, and in the East that's pretty low, but I would lean under here. Dennis Schroeder has a suspension looming. You know, he could probably be a decent scorer, but he plays out of control. I think Kent Bazemore is going to want to kill himself by January-ish. We'll see on that timeline, but this roster is atrocious.
Awful. I agree. The under 27.5, one of my favorite Eastern Conference plays.
Mine as well.
So give me your 8 playoff teams in order.
I have the Celts, Cavs, Raptors, Wiz, Bucks, Heat, Pistons, and Hornets as my playoff teams.
Celts the 1 seed?
Yeah.
I have Cavs as the 1 seed. Bullets, 2 seed.
Hey!
Celts 3. Bucks 4.
6.
Raptors 5. Miami 6. Sixers 7. And
Tough picking here at the back end, isn't it?
oh God,
It's got to be the Hornets or the Pistons.
I know. I guess the Hornets.
You know what actual conversation I had to myself was for the 8th seed, does Dwight Howard make a difference? Does it push the Hornets over the top of the Sixers?
I don't know. No way.
I think Malik Monk and Kemba Walker to me are better than Simmons and Fultz. That's why I took the Hornets over the Sixers.
Oh God, the back end is really bad.
It's really bad. Those last 3 spots, you just really have to hold your breath.
Can we institute a new rule that we could get West teams to take the 7 and 8 seed?
I'm actually surprised that hasn't been more realistically talked about.
Give me your Eastern Conference final.
I have Cavs, Celts. I really want to do Celts Raptors. I really wanted to, just for the record.
I have Cavs, Bullets.
Who do you have winning the East?
Cavs.
I have the Celtics winning the East.
I don't like the Cavs roster at all, but I hate everybody else in the East.
I can't pick the Wiz because they have no depth and they're from Washington. The Raptors bench scares me too, so just by default I like the Celtics.
To the West. Starting in the Northwest Conference, I have the Oklahoma City Thunder winning this division.
As do I.
This should actually be a really fun division to watch.
I totally agree. It's my favorite division in basketball.
So we'll start with the Thunder. They obviously bring in Melo, Paul George, Russell Westbrook returning off his MVP year. They lose Cantor and Oladipo. Your thoughts on Thunder?
They obviously will look pretty different with George, Melo, no Cantor. I think they should be able to play the same lineups now. I think the Cantor with Adams didn't really mesh well. They had trouble finding lineups at the end of the game. They also brought in Patrick Pat, which I really like. I think he's an underrated bench guy. So I like the Thunder. I would actually lean over 52. I think they're pretty deep. They have some talent at multiple positions, and obviously at the top end with Westbrook and George and Melo to some extent, they have some guys that can take over a game. So I like what the Thunder have done.
I agree with you. Winning 47 games last year with not a great roster, 6 wins seems fairly easy to get,
Yeah.
despite being in the West.
Exactly. That's the one caveat, but still.
I wish they could find somebody other than Roberson to play the two.
That's a good point. I don't even know who else. I guess.
Maybe Patterson plays in crunch time.
Yeah, they don't really have another option.
No, they don't.
I guess Daniel Hamilton. They have a couple of young kids that maybe they're going to try out.
We talked about it earlier. It's going to be so interesting to watch Westbrook and see if he could change his game, but also to see how Carmelo fits in.
Yeah.
Another guy who likes to pound the ball into the floor.
I am curious to see with Melo if he changes his style of play into just more of a pick and pop guy. He's always been a jump shooter, but like you said, he's more of a pound shoot guy. I think he could do really well as a spot up in this offense.
I agree. I have the T-Wolves finishing second.
So do I.
They lose Rubio, Levine, Dunn. Bring in Butler, Taj Gibson, Jamal Crawford, and Aaron Brooks. 31 and 51 last year. Over under 46 and a half.
We got burned by them last year. We were a year ahead. Obviously, the Butler deal we couldn't foresee happening, but I think he just makes them so much better. I don't mind the Jamal Crawford, actually.
I like it.
I think he's a good deep bench guy. I think he brings some experience, which they desperately missed last year. Jeff Teague, also an underrated signing, and he brings some experience in the backcourt. I've always liked his game. You know, Towns, Wiggins, Teague. They got Tyrus Jones, who should be healthy this year. Crawford, Butler, and your boy Cole Aldridge, just an anchor in the middle. Obviously, I'm high on him. I was last year. I like the over here.
Over 46 and a half.
I think they get to 48 wins.
Wow. I think it's a good number. I don't really have a lean either way. Yeah, I like. I think Butler is going to be really, really good there, reuniting with Thibodeau. Interested to see another year of Karl Anthony Towns.
If you were calling NBA GMs, who would you start a team with? Durant probably is one. I would be interested to see who's number two because I've seen a lot of those anonymous surveys with Towns ahead of Anthony Davis.
Advanced stats only take you so far, but I was pretty surprised to see how bad Karl Anthony Towns' defensive metrics were.
He's big and he can move, but I wouldn't call him athletic, if that makes any sense at all. Like, Garnett was always athletic. Towns seems a little softer, but hey, you can't really argue with 25 and 12.
Are you concerned at all? I like the Crawford off the bench, but are you concerned at all with the bench depth in 48 wins?
I like some of the guys on their bench. Crawford, I don't know if he'll be one or two. I think they are going to have to get some production out of Ty Jones if we're being candid about their bench, because I don't think you can count on Shabazz Muhammad at this point, even though he's only 24, which is just shocking.
I forgot about him.
He's only 24 years old.
I could see the over, but I'm still. They also have your boy Melo Trimble.
Yeah, we'll see if he's got anything. I'm not sure he is going to be able to create his own shot in the NBA.
Yeah.
Talk about a guy that missed out leaving early.
This is just a lean over for you. I don't have a play here.
Yeah, just a lean. I mean, I think it's a good number.
I then have the Portland Trailblazers finishing third.
I have the Denver Nuggets finishing third.
Go ahead, you make your case for Denver.
It's more, I think their roster is deeper than Portland's. They obviously don't have the 1-2 punch punch that Portland does. But I think they're one of those teams that is a tough out because they run 10 guys at you. Obviously, I love the addition of Paul Millsap. I think he fits with Denver. I think he's not a guy or the guy, but he is a really good B-flight guy. So I love Millsap, Moutier, Jamal Murray. They still got guys down low. Fareed. They still have Wilson Chandler off the bench. Darrell Arthur off the bench. Jokic, I really like down low. I just think they have 10 guys that are pretty good, and they're going to wear some teams out.
I really like their roster. I like this team. I think they have pieces if they wanted to make a move to get somebody big back, that they could do that.
Oh, definitely. If you're talking about just players as assets, I think they actually might have the most in the league.
I would like to see them get a better point guard. That's my big holdup on them.
Fair point. Definitely fair. Moutier is definitely score first.
Score first with a terrible jumper.
Yeah, that is true. I think they drafted a kid out of Iowa State. I can't remember his name, but he's a similar type of player.
Can Jokic follow up what he did last year?
I do not see why not. I would expect the same type of numbers from him. I think he's really good.
40 and 42, over-under set at 43.5 this year.
I think it's a good number. The West is just so tough, and like you said, without a point guard, I think that makes it tougher. I think the age, Millsap is a veteran, but a lot of their other really good players are still pretty young, so I think it's tough to see them getting above that number.
I had the Trailblazers third. They lose Crabbe, draft Collins and Caleb Swanigan. I thought the Zach Collins trade was a great deal that they made on draft night. I'm expecting Nurkic to have a really good year for them, to take some of the burden off Lillard and McCollum. Only reason I have them ahead of Denver. Counting a lot on Jusuf Nurkic.
Yeah, I don't love the Nurkic-Leonard Collins combo. Those are all three very similar players to me. That's what worries me. They're big, but I don't know how you guard people with those three guys.
Throw in Caleb Swanigan.
Yeah, exactly. They're all very similar guys, so it's kind of a weird. There's talent there for sure, but it's kind of a weird lineup situation with them.
So they went 41 and 41 last year. Over/under set at 40.5. I lean over.
Interesting. I would lean under. Actually, I think they're the same team as last year.
I then have Denver, who we talked about.
Yeah, I have the Blazers, so we just flip-flopped.
And rounding out the division is Utah.
Yeah, I would expect a step back. Just they lose their best player, which a team like Utah hurts more than others. Gobert is still a force on the defensive end, so he'll probably have a big year. If they're going to be good, I think they have to expect a lot out of Rodney Hood and their rookie Donovan Mitchell, who I will say did look good in the couple games I watched preseason. So those two guys really have to step up, along with Derek Favors.
I may be snorting cocaine off my desk, but I don't mind this Jazz team.
I'm looking at their roster. Losing your best player kills you, but I think they have some pieces.
Certainly Hayward was their best player. They are not going to be as good as they were with him, but I think they have enough pieces to make up for some of what he did. I like Donovan Mitchell a lot.
So do I. That's a fair point. They're going to take a couple of games back, but they're definitely not a bad team, and this is probably not a team you're going to want to face as a playoff contender in the West come March.
They need Rodney Hood to take a step forward.
Yes.
and Gobert has to stay healthy.
Yeah, Hood going into year 3 or 4, I can't remember. Still only a 10 to 12 point a game guy. He's got to be that 16 to 18 point guard, and they have to have Mitchell be an asset.
They went 51 and 31 last year, over under 38 and a half. I do not think Gordon Hayward is worth 12 and a half wins.
Yeah, that is an interesting drop off. It's almost so big that it worries me a little bit that somebody knows something I don't, like that somebody's hurt. But it seems like a 40-win team, 40-win roster still.
Yeah, I really like the over.
I can lean that way with you.
Moving on to the Pacific, and nobody's beating Golden State.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you want to talk about this division because
there's not much to add about Golden State. 67 and a half over under. They went 67 and 15 last year.
Yeah, it's the same team essentially. I don't see why it would be different. I think it's a tough number to bet actually because they are so good. They can win 75 games, or someone gets nicked, something like that happens. They only win 65, but I think it's a good number.
They bring in Swaggy P.
Did they really? I didn't know that.
Yes.
Oh wow, I might lean under then. I don't like what that does to team chemistry.
I cannot see him walking around with an NBA ring. Somebody has to beat them.
I can't imagine. I mean, I would assume he still talks trash to everybody on the team, but he might be the best volume shooter on that team.
I have the Clippers finishing second.
Yeah, just by default. Although I lean under Clippers 42 and a half because I don't think Blake stays healthy, and other than him, the rosters are dreadful.
51 and 31 last year. 42 and a half over under this year. Lose Paul, Reddick, Crawford, Spates, Ba Mute. Bring in Patrick Beverly, Gallinari, Lou Williams. I don't hate this roster.
I do hate this roster. I hate it.
We're going to be on different ends with the Clippers then.
I mean, those guys are terrible that you just named.
I worry about Blake's health, certainly. But I like what Beverly brings. I like what Gallinari brings, assuming he's healthy.
Yeah, he brings injuries. That's what he does. He brings the plague.
And I love what Sweet Lou gives them off the bench.
Oh, is he a bench guy? I assume he'd start.
I'm sure Doc's going to start his son.
There's only two. That's true. I didn't think about that. There's 3 guys on this roster that I like. Lou Williams, the rookie Sindarius Thornwell. We'll see if his game translates to the NBA. I don't think it will, but I still like him. And then Sam Decker, our boy.
Yes.
Those are the only 3 guys I can get on with this roster.
I lean over.
Well, I lean under, so we're on opposite sides.
I hate that I'm like this Clippers team.
Yeah, I've been worried about your health, actually.
I have the Sacramento Kings finishing third with a very eclectic group of players.
This is going to be crazy, but I have the Lakers finishing third.
Jesus. Why are the Lakers better than the Clippers?
Better than the Kings, you mean?
That's what I meant.
I mean, if you want me to really dig down, I think there's a case where the Lakers are better than the Clippers. They're certainly in a better spot going forward.
What?
I don't know. I like some of the Kings players, but it just seems like the Bermuda Triangle out there. Specifically with the Lakers, I think Julius Randle takes a little step forward. I like Brook Lopez in this spot. And then my boy Contavious Caldwell-Pope from Georgia, I think he steps in as an immediate scorer. I think Lonzo Ball has a good rookie year. And I think they just, they have 6 or 7 guys that are actually decent basketball players.
What kind of year do you expect out of Brandon Ingram?
He's kind of the question mark to me. I never bought into him during draft time. I always thought he was too much of a aloof. I just don't like his energy out there. He just doesn't seem like he cares. And I'm sure it's not like that, but that's just how he plays. And I don't like his style of game. I never thought he was ever a good shooter in college, and he hasn't been a really good shooter in the NBA. Everyone wanted to compare him to Durant, but that's just because he's skinny. I think this is kind of what he is. He has Marvin Williams type talent, and Marvin Williams never really got there, and I kind of feel like that's what Brandon Ingram is destined to be.
Is Kyle Kuzma real?
What's that?
Is Kyle Kuzma real, or is this a flash in the pan what we've seen in preseason?
I'm still surprised people think preseason means anything, so I'm going to stick with flash in the pan.
I don't like this Lakers team. I think Lonzo will be all right, and I like Brook Lopez. The addition of him. Other than that, I don't like this team.
I think this is one of those teams the second half of the year that it starts to gel and is pretty decent.
Their over-under's 32.5. They won 26 last year. This is
I think I lean over.
That's an under. Now to the third place Sacramento Kings.
I mean, you're on them, so I'll let you talk about them.
I think they got the second best player in the draft in De'Aaron Fox. I like Zebo coming in. I like Vince Carter to come in and teach some of the youngsters. I like the addition of George Hill. I think Buddy Hield has an okay year.
I like Buddy Hield.
And I like Cauley Stein.
I like Cauley Stein.
I think it may take a little while for them to figure out the rotation. But I do like this team, not as a playoff team, but as the third place team in the division and to go over 29 wins.
So I think what we're saying is that we're going to have our first head-to-head bet then for a extra spicy cocktail at the Harry Saxton. My Lakers for sure Kings.
Absolutely.
All right, it's done. Write it down.
Then the last place team in this division, the Phoenix Suns.
Full tank mode.
Yes.
Not much to say. They had some decent guard pieces. I always thought Eric Bledsoe was good, but apparently not. This team is, I think they're on the full blow-up mode here.
What do you expect out of Josh Jackson?
Hot name in the draft. I think because of his versatility, he should be able to step in and play defense right away. I am not sold on him as an offensive prospect in the league. I'm just not sure he has a good enough shot. It'll be interesting to see if Alec Peters from Valpo can do anything in the NBA. He was a really good scorer in college. Really, the only piece I like on this team is Devin Booker. Kid can flat out score. He's really good. I guess TJ Warren is okay. Those are the only two pieces I really like, though.
They have pieces. They're going to be in tank mode. They'll get a top 3 to 5 draft pick probably. I just don't know what they're building. Certainly Booker, you can build around, but then where do you go?
Yeah, it seems like they keep taking chances in the drafts on guys that, might pan out one day, mainly with Trajan Bender, Marquise Chris. I guess Josh Jackson was seen as safer, but I don't know. Those 2 shots in the lottery, to me, really torpedoed this team.
Yeah, I agree. Their over-under is 28.5.
Boy, tough to see them getting to that.
Yeah, I like the under here.
I would lean with you there.
Last division, the Southwest. I have the Rockets winning this division.
So do I.
We touched upon them early in the podcast. It will be interesting to see Paul and Harden work together. They also bring in PJ Tucker. How do you like the rest of the roster?
I like the PJ Tucker. I think that's an under the radar move. He provides some good shooting. To me, it's just all when they gel, how they gel, because they have a good complement of players here. If Eric Gordon stays healthy, he also can shoot. Nene had a pretty decent year for them last year, shockingly. So they have size. They have some guys that can shoot. Ryan Anderson, another good shooter. Trevor Ariza, another good shooter. So if and when Paul and Harden gel, I think that's kind of when they hit their stride.
55 and 27 last year, 54 and a half over under.
I do not like a play here. I don't know if Paul makes them significantly better in their over-under total.
I then go Spurs finishing second.
Me too.
Don't love this roster.
Yeah, they're teetering here. Pop's getting older. I'm not sure how much longer he wants to coach, but they're not really doing a good job of helping Kawhi out here. It's tough when you have three of your best players in franchise history, all the same age, all retiring. But to fill it with two guys that are also already older, in Gasol and Aldridge, I don't think did Kawhi any service here.
How surprised were you at the contract that LaMarcus Aldridge just got?
Shocked. He's 32 with foot and knee issues. That's shocking to me.
Yeah, it's after what we saw in the playoffs last year, I am shocked.
I mean, this team is... their win total's pretty high. I don't know if they're waiting to make a move at the deadline or what, but Patty Mills should provide some spark at point guard. Parker was pretty bad last year, but they get some old guys on this roster.
Yeah, I'm with you.
He is expected to play significant minutes, which doesn't do a lot for me either.
61 and 21 last year, over under set at 53 and a half.
I lean under here, actually.
I'm with you. Kawhi Leonard hasn't been the most healthy guy in the world either.
Yeah, and he's expected to do everything, which has got to take its toll on you.
I'm with you. I then have the Pelicans.
I actually have the Grizzlies third.
Go ahead, make your case for the Grizz.
So they lose Debo, face of the franchise for the last decade. That's a big deal. But they still have Gasol and Conley. I really like Conley. I think he's been one of the more underrated guys in the league.
I agree.
I really like the rookie Dylan Brooks. I think he's going to be a pretty good player. I think they got a steal. They bring in some guys that kind of didn't pan out in other places. Tyreek Evans, Ben McLemore. I think it provides at least some athleticism, some youth in the backcourt. Maybe gives them a scoring punch. And Chandler Parsons can stay healthy. I just think they have some guys that can score. And I like the Conley-Gasol combo a little more than I like the Pelicans combo.
You've convinced me. I'm with you on the Grizz finishing third. I just took a deeper look at the Pelicans roster.
Yeah, it's kind of scary outside of Davis.
Atrocity what has happened to him. For the franchise to surround him with garbage for 5 years they don't deserve to have him in New Orleans.
Yeah, that's kind of my question is why do you think he's going to stay at this point? Just because you got Boogie Cousins, a guy that doesn't really fit with him?
Percentage chance Boogie Cousins gets traded at the deadline or by the deadline.
Good one. I'm going to say at least 30%.
Can he fetch enough to entice Davis to sign a long-term deal?
That is tough. I don't think Davis wants to leave just because he's seen what type of backlash other players get, but if the NBA were to ever contract teams, New Orleans is probably a top 5 contender to be contracted. The roster's atrocious, so Boogie would have to really fetch something big. And he can't have much confidence in the front office that even if he does fetch a good package back, if its picks are included, which I'm assuming they would be, there's not much confidence that they're going to do anything with those picks.
Do the Bullets have enough ammo to get Boogie?
Probably not.
Yeah, they probably need to get a third team involved.
I'm not sure where Boogie fits, to be honest.
I was just looking through all the teams, and the teams with the assets, I don't think he really fits there. I'm looking at Denver. I guess the Suns, but I don't know why you would want to go that direction if you're Phoenix.
Portland?
I thought about Portland. And the Lakers make sense, but do they want to go that direction as well?
I think he's a tough one to move.
Does he do anything for the Bucks?
I think it pushes Davis out. The roster's just dreadful.
Does he do anything for the Bucks?
No, I don't like that fit with Giannis.
Would you do Boogie to Detroit for Andre Drummond if you're New Orleans?
Yeah. I would.
Yeah.
What about, that gives you see a wash trade with someone like the Magic,
Yeah.
where it doesn't mean anything, or the Knicks, where no one really benefits.
Yeah, Knicks, yeah.
But I don't see a team where I'm like, man, that's a fit right there.
Yeah, I'm with you.
If you're San Antonio and you could get a promise from him that he's not going to be an asshole, and the main point of the trade allows you to get rid of Aldridge, I think you do that.
Yeah.
That's you get younger, you're upgrading in a player, and you're removing maybe the worst contract in the league.
It's head scratching to me why they made this trade last year.
Yeah, they didn't give up much, I guess, was the only reason. But at this point, Buddy Hield, I liked him in the trade.
So they're counting on Drew Holiday, Etuan Moore, and then they bring in Tony Allen, who hasn't made a jumper in 15 years, and Rajon Rondo, who likes to control the ball.
And is hurt.
Yeah.
So, yes, that is why I almost had them finishing last in this division.
So are we going to see another year of the first or second best player under the age of 25 missing the playoffs?
Yes.
What is
I lean
disaster?
under here.
That under is set at 40 and a half.
40 to me is a lot.
And they won 34 last year.
Yeah, exactly.
That's certainly an under lean. Wow. Grizz were over unders 38 and a half, 43 and 39 last year.
I still think they are 6 games worse just by losing an older Zach Randolph. I already laid out my roster case for them, so I lean over.
You've convinced me to lean over there as well. And the last place team in that division, the Dallas Mavericks.
Yeah, I think Cuban's a smart enough owner where he brought Dirk back since Dirk at least showed something last year. Still take a draw, still can give you some minutes. I think he's a smart enough owner, though, where he knows he's going to have to tank somewhat to stay in the lottery. They probably have the Rookie of the Year in Dennis Smith, who somehow fell into their lap, so love that pick. The roster's pretty bad other than that, but I think it's kind of on purpose because they're trying to be in the lottery again next year.
How many more years of Dirk?
Oh, boy, I would think this has got to be his last, right? I don't think he's the type of guy, if he starts averaging 12 a game, is going to keep playing.
Is Nerlens Noel gamble going to pay off for him?
I think it depends on what you mean by that. Do expected to score 20 a game, then no. But I think he can give you some minutes rebounding and defensively.
So they went 33 and 49 last year. Over under 35.5 this year.
Yeah, I don't. The roster's not very good, so I probably would lean under because the West is so good. But I don't feel great about it.
Give me your 8.
Golden State, Oklahoma City, Houston, Minnesota, San Antonio, Portland, Denver, Memphis.
I got Golden State, Oklahoma City, Houston, San An, Minnesota, Portland, Clippers. I really want to say Jazz, but I think I got to go Denver. I'm going to go Jazz.
I like it. I want to see a Rudy Gobert jersey.
I got Warriors, OKC in the finals.
So do I.
Warriors winning it.
Yep.
Warriors over the Cavs again for me.
I have Warriors over the Celtics.
MVP.
Sweep. I have a sweep, by the way. I already alluded to this. I am going to go with Giannis as my MVP. I think the Warriors guys kind of knock each other out. I expect a down year from LeBron. Harden and Westbrook are the X factors, but they both have new teammates that are quote-unquote superstars, so I think there'll be some adjusting there. So I think Giannis is a good one.
With all that being said, and I agree that some of the big names have new teammates or have other stars on their team, can John Wall make a run at it this year?
Oh, interesting. I think if they win, if they can get the 2 seed in the East, like you say, and they leapfrog either Boston or Cleveland, then I think he could be in that combo. Interesting.
Do you have the odds in front of you?
I do. Let's see what tab I had down there.
I like the freak odds.
Yes. John Wall, I would assume, is pretty far down this list. He is. Carl Anthony Towns at 3,300 is interesting. John Wall is also at 3,300.
I would take a couple shekels on that.
Yeah, I don't mind that one. That's a pretty good one. Embiid at 2,500, by the way, is was intriguing. My worry, though, is they don't want enough games for that to matter.
I don't think he'll play enough minutes or enough games.
Yeah.
Rookie of the year.
I have Dennis Smith Jr.
I'll go Ben Simmons.
He's such a homer.
Biggest surprise of the year. Team.
Biggest surprise. I gotta go something unexpected here.
In a good way, surprise.
Good surprise. I will go. I'm gonna go. I think the Lakers win 35 games.
My surprise will be Jazz in the playoffs.
Well, is Grizz third in that division? Is that a big enough surprise? I don't think it is.
Nah, probably not.
Nuggets beating the Blazers.
What's that one?
Nuggets beating the Blazers in that division, the Northwest. That's probably not big enough either.
No, actually, the odds to win the Northwest, Nuggets are 5-1, Blazers are 16-1.
Oh, wow. All right.
And then disappointment. Team.
I am going to say I wrestled with this one with San Antonio and Cleveland. San Antonio, I think the step back's more expected, but I think Cleveland is going to be the biggest surprise. I think if something weird happens where Thomas comes back, I could see them dropping down to the 4 seed here.
Yeah, sticking with you, I think the Spurs become the disappointment this year. I'll run through the ones I have checked and which we agreed on for over-unders to see if you want anything official. Under Hawks 27.5.
I like it.
Official.
Yeah.
Under Celts 53.5.
Just a lead for me.
Hornets 42.5 under.
I think I like that one too.
We could go.
It's so freaking bad.
We could go back to that one.
Alright.
Cavs under 54.5.
Just a lead.
Mavs under 35.5.
I like that one.
That's an official.
Yeah.
Pacers under 35 or under 30.5.
I like that one.
Official.
Yes.
Grizz over 38.5.
I like that one.
That's a lean for me.
Alright, then it stays off.
Heat under 42.5.
Just a lead for me.
Pelicans under 40.5.
Love it.
That's an official. Knicks 30.5 under.
I like that one too.
That's in. Suns under 28.5.
Just a lead, but that one's pretty enticing.
Spurs under 53.5.
Oh man. If you want to do it, I'm okay with it.
I want to, but if Leonard's healthy, I could see it right around the number.
Yeah.
Raptors over 47.5.
Just a lead.
Jazz over 38.5.
I like the under.
Wiz 48.5 over.
Just a lean because they're from Washington.
So we have 5 officials. Hawks under 27.5. Mavs under 35.5. Pacers under 30.5. Pelicans under 40.5. Knicks under 30.5. We love betting on shitty teams.
What about Thunder over? Do we like that or no?
Okay. Oh yes. Over 52.5.
Is that a lean or an official?
Do they figure it out quick enough?
Yeah, that's the question. They won 50 games last year. I think they're significantly improved.
Over. Our only over.
Yeah.
So we got 6.
Like, let's say Carmelo dies tomorrow. I think it's the same team, just as good, right?
Yes.
I mean, that's my thought process. If one of those guys, Westbrook going down is a killer, but if Carmelo dies, I'm still fine with over.
While we're handing out plays, Cleveland -4 tonight against Boston in Cleveland.
I like Boston.
Official.
Is LeBron, what's his status? Last I saw, he was
Questionable. Questionable.
Yeah, I mean, if he doesn't play, there's no chance. I like Boston here.
Official.
Yeah.
Celts +4.
It's handing out candy time of year.
Golden State -9 versus Houston.
I like Golden State.
Official.
Yeah.
Golden State -9.
Do you like that too?
I do. I love that.
Yeah, I think they win by 30.
I'll just run. They have the Wednesday lines up. I'll run through them quickly. Brooklyn, Indiana -3.5.
Kind of like Brooklyn, but that's two really bad
Yes.
teams going at it pretty early.
The Bullets -7 against the Process.
I like Philly.
Embiid only playing 20 minutes.
Is he?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Minutes restriction for the first couple weeks.
Damn, I think that's a good number because the Wiz always start out slow.
Miami -3 out of Orlando.
No like.
Detroit -4 against Charlotte.
Oh, kind of like Detroit.
That would just be a lean for me. Boston -5.5 in a back-to-back against the Bucks.
Is that in Boston or Milwaukee?
In Boston.
We'll have to see how tonight goes. If they get blown out, I'll like Boston. If it's a close game, I'll like Milwaukee.
I'm with you. Grizz -3 at home. Pelicans.
Love the Grizz.
That one we can revisit tomorrow. I think I'm with you.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Opening night's always weird. Some guys don't play opening night. I don't know why.
Mavs -6.5 over Atlanta at home.
Wow. I would lean Mavs there. I think Schroeder is out.
Yeah, that's also a lean. Interesting line here. Jazz -2.5 at home against Denver.
I don't like either side there. Jazz are tough to beat in Utah.
St. Anne -1.5 at home against the Wolves.
Wow. Tough one there. I don't know. I think I might leave St. Anne there.
Rockets back-to-back on the road -8 against my Sacramento Kings.
Oh boy. You have to see how tonight plays out because I think they could get blown out. And I'm not as high in Sacramento as you are.
Portland without McCollum -1 in Phoenix.
Without McCollum?
He's suspended for leaving the bench in an exhibition fracas.
Oh, that's right. No like then.
I am with you on that. 2 baseball games tonight. Cubs -114, Dodgers +104, Darvish against Hendricks.
I like the Cubs. It's just a must-win game, and Darvish has not been good basically all year.
Official?
If you like it,
we should have won Sunday.
The Cubs were pretty good, but
we got screwed Sunday.
I don't love how Kendricks is throwing the ball. The Nats lit him up, but Darvish hasn't been good. It's going to be freezing cold in Wrigley, and the Dodgers are a warm weather team.
In 2 hours, Sonny Gray against Lance McCullers. The Yankees are -125, Houston +115.
Sonny Gray, X Factor. I like the Yanks here, though,
I think I like over 8.5.
Oh, interesting. I like that, too, I think.
Official.
I think the Stros will get some runs tonight.
I do, too. Over 8.5?
Yeah, I like that.
Celts +4, Golden State -9, Cubs -114, over 8.5, Yankees Astros. I'll tweet out the over-unders for the NBA. Awesome job by you today.
Golf clap for the host of the NBA Mega Pod. That was fun.
We'll be back later this week. 7-4 last week. Starting to get hot as the weather cools.
That's what we always do.
Talk to you soon.